Because he used to have casino. But he's not wrong. The whole world has become a casino.
Yeah, because he's making it a casino.
Well, he certainly has contributed, yes.
Contributed?
Well,
Bill,
you think Poly Market wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Donald Trump? I think it would anyway.
I'll tell you what, it would absolutely exist.
Okay.
And I want to know if there's any chance that you're not going to run, by the way, because I will put in a bet right now. Because that's the way the corruption works these days. It's right in your face. I don't want to see this soldier be the face of this problem. Of course, what he did is wrong. That's easy. You're making billion-dollar oil bets minutes before the president makes an announcement, and no one on the right says anything.
Tonight's debate takes a dramatic turn as tensions explode between Chris Cuomo and Bill Maher during a fiery episode of Overtime with Bill Maher begins as a political discussion quickly turns into a heated confrontation packed with sharp interruptions, intense reactions, and brutal fact checks that leave the entire panel stunned. As Cuomo aggressively pushes back against Maher's arguments, the debate spirals into a nonstop clash over power, leadership, accountability, and the current state of American politics, with both men refusing to back down. The atmosphere becomes increasingly tense as each exchange grows louder and more personal. Stay tuned, because this debate only gets more explosive from here, and by the end, viewers are left wondering who truly won the argument.
Yes, today, this was in the news. A soldier who was involved in the operation to get Maduro out of Venezuela, which was a success, by the way.
Yep.
Okay, we got to give success.
Yep.
Okay, he bet on it.
Yeah.
He won $400,000, and they asked Trump about it, and Trump said, "The whole world, unfortunately, has become somewhat of a casino."
No irony. No irony when he said it.
Because he used to have casino.
I gotta tell you,
but he's not wrong. The whole world has become a casino.
Yeah, because he's making it a casino.
Well, he certainly has contributed, yes.
Contributed?
Well,
Bill,
you think Poly Market wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Donald Trump? I think it would anyway.
I'll tell you what, it would absolutely exist.
Okay.
And I want to know if there's any chance that you're not going to run, by the way, because I will put in a bet right now. Because that's the way the corruption works these days. It's right in your face. I don't want to see this soldier be the face of this problem. Of course, what he did is wrong. That's easy. You're making billion-dollar oil bets minutes before the president makes an announcement, and no one on the right says anything except Anna Paulina Luna and 2 or 3 others who should all be heroized for this, in my opinion. The corruption is so in your face. Yes, what this cat did was wrong, okay? And he's going to suffer. But he should not be the face of the problem. And people in Congress who are yapping about him when they've said nothing about these other things are the worst. And when they're trading stocks and they won't even have a vote on the bill, they are the worst. They're the worst.
We could pass a law tomorrow. Congress could pass a law tomorrow doing what you did.
Right.
They could pass a law tomorrow preventing themselves from trading stocks. They're not doing it. They're not even bound by the employment discrimination laws that they've passed for everyone else. And we don't hold them accountable. We're just like, oh, I guess Congress just puts out press releases and holds hearings, and we fight over gerrymandering. Like, put the pressure where it belongs, not on the courts of whether they're going to uphold or strike this down. That is a statutory question, which means it's up to Congress.
How many people, if you did a survey, would even know who the congressperson is? One guy applauded. I don't even know what, I don't know if it was like, I do, or it was like, yeah, you're right, Bill. I don't know.
Well, their new approval rating is at 10%, and I would love to meet someone in the 10%. Who's like, yeah, they're crushing it out there.
It's them. It's them. That's who it is. It's them and the donors. You know, I mean, that's who it is.
A firing squad, they're dead in a second.
That's right.
What they do now is this chemical thing where they kind of just put you out. You know, it's the Nora Jones music is playing.
Close to it.
It's like a spot. Wait, really? And then half the time, the shit they put in you doesn't work.
It takes a really long time to put someone to death. We have people watching it.
It's not, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Can I offer a different perspective?
Yes, please.
Just while we're all lining up to shoot people in the head.
I'm just saying, if you're going to do it, that's the way.
I think that there's an aspect of the death penalty that should matter, which is what is the social instruction? And I think that the reason they're doing this is that this administration is very embracing of brutality. He has a very misplaced sense of macho, this president. And, yeah, we're just going to shoot you in the head is some kind of attempt to be tough. And it's not tough. It's weak. And I think these kinds of instructions, you know, look, this is the same story for all of our families. My family came to this country because they thought it was a place that was going to be better, that was beautiful for opportunity, where they would have a chance, where they didn't have to worry about the oppression they had at home. That's not what we are with these kinds of things. If you want the death penalty, fine. It doesn't work, okay? It doesn't deter crime.
Well, it deters that criminal.
It is, yeah, it does, but it gives an instruction that death is okay, that murder is okay, killing is okay. It's not murder technically, killing is okay. I think the social instruction matters. I think when you're saying, yeah, we'll just shoot you in the head, I think it cheapens something that should be the highest value.
Where are you on the death penalty? Where is it in Maryland, and where are you personally?
We in Maryland, it's banned inside of Maryland. But I do think it is an important point, because when people are talking about the death penalty as an idea of a deterrence, the reality is it's not, right? There's no data that shows that this is a deterrence for how people are going to behave or how people are going to act. But it does create a bigger thing about how are we thinking about this value? How are we thinking about what it is that we hope for and what it is that we're aspiring to? And I think about it in context of this, right? When I first became the governor, we had an absolute violence crisis within our state. I mean, Baltimore City was averaging almost a homicide a day when I first became the governor. And I said, I was very clear that we were going to have a different type of approach, that we made historic investments in local law enforcement. We made historic investments, and we made Maryland one of the only states that actually helps to fund the U.S. attorney out of balance sheet. So if a person commits a violent crime, particularly with a firearm, I'm going to have them handcuffed in 24 hours, and we're going to make sure that crime, especially if it is a firearm crime, we're going to help to make sure that goes federal. And if you look at the results, we've now seen how the violent crime rate in Maryland is down nearly 50%. It's the fastest drop in the entire country. The last time the homicide rate was this low in Baltimore City, I wasn't born yet.
This week, Governor, Los Angeles became the first major school district to require screen time limits. We are? The first? Okay, they did another country. Australia did it, but I guess they're not here. What's your approach in Maryland? Yeah, where are you on screen time?
Well, I know we actually have legislation that's just works its way through Maryland that I will be signing that's actually going to do a ban-to-ban, a bell-to-bell ban on devices for our kids.
There's a school in Houston, by the way, that got a metal grinder, and if your kid is caught with any screen, their phone out during the school day at all, they put it ceremonially into the metal grinder, and it just goes in, and that's the end of your phone.
That's the end of your phone.
Yeah.
Well, it's just, and here's
that's
the
a
thing.
deterrence.
It is a deterrence. But our families and our teachers are going through enough right now. Right, we've had, especially post-COVID, we now have a teacher shortage that is vast, and we've been really focusing on getting more educators in the classroom, getting more men and more men of color inside of the classroom. We have cut the teacher vacancy rate in half in the state of Maryland, and a lot of them actually been, a lot of those federal workers have been fired. We started something called our Feds to Eds, which is actually saying if you're a federal worker who's been fired, if you're working for the NIH and you have a degree in physics, and you want to be a physics teacher, we're going to get you certified, we're going to get you qualified, we're going to get you in a classroom as quickly as possible. We've cut the teacher vacancy rate in half inside of the state of Maryland. I do not want our teachers fighting with Mark Zuckerberg for our kids' attention. And so I want to make sure that we're focusing, our kids are locked on task.
As any parent, okay, so I had kids in a great public school out where we live. Nothing has made a bigger difference than them pulling the phone. And if there was one fight that I could redo, that I totally blew. I mean, the list is long, but this one, if I could get this one back, I would have never given them the phone. I would have never given them the smartphone. Never. Not until they were 55 years of age.
We'll leave it there. Thank you, everybody.
In the end, this debate perfectly captured how divided political conversations have become in America today. Chris Cuomo came into the discussion aggressive, direct, and prepared to challenge nearly every point being made, while Bill Maher tried to defend his perspective without completely backing away from the criticism. What made the exchange so intense wasn't just the shouting or interruptions, but the fact that both sides clearly believed the future of the country is at stake. Throughout the debate, Cuomo focused heavily on accountability, political hypocrisy, and the dangers of ignoring facts when emotions take over public discourse. Maher, on the other hand, attempted to argue that modern politics has become too extreme on all sides, and warned against blind loyalty to political figures or parties. Neither side gave an inch. And that's exactly why the conversation became so explosive. Moments like this are why political debates continue to dominate social media and cable news. People are no longer just debating policies. They're debating truth, trust, and what kind of leadership they believe America should follow moving forward, whether viewers agreed more with Cuomo or Maher. One thing is certain. This confrontation grabbed attention because it reflected the frustration, anger, and deep political divide that millions of people are already feeling across the country today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you think won this debate? And do conversations like this help political discourse? Or are they only making the division even worse? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more breaking political debates and analysis here on Joseph Reports.